Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinker and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Well, as we crest into Wave 2 of this new ZOIDS collaboration, it looks like two familiar faces from the New Century series will be coming back with new forms and some new kits overall, as we spice things up with some new moves being introduced into the game as well. In addition to this, it's going to be yet another fairly busy week as far as collaborations are concerned. But when it comes to anything to do with ZOIDS, that is most certainly par for the course and fully to be expected. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into what was officially announced for this week, starting with the gotcha banners and who to expect in this second wave of the ZOIDS collaboration lineup. Now, unlike it was with Liger Zero, Schneider, Panzer, and Fuhrer, these models actually aren't exactly following the same ZSZ model family, and instead following a completely new one unto themselves, following the Zoid Fuser series. That being said, we can be now introduced to ZFZ-0 Liger PX with Hypercharge Missile, CGU Claw, Smash Claw, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Adapter. And then we also have ZFZ-01 Buster F with Desolation, Sway Claw, Drill, Flight Legs, and the leg ability of Stub. Now, much like it was with Liger getting both the Schneider and Panzer alternative designs, and then of course the Jaeger as a cosmetic skin, it looks like Liger Zero is still going to be the centerfold for this week's new wave of the ZOIDS collab, featuring the Phoenix fusion that it was capable of in the series, with a completely new kit across the board featuring gunpowder and CG reliancy, kind of tying back into what made Liger Zero stand apart from the other Liger types to begin with. And then with Buster F on the line, featuring a very high agility type of design and a new friend sporting on his back, it looks like he trades his overall shooting kit that the original Buster Fuhrer had with a higher agility and completely different kit focusing more on melee damage more than shooting damage. That being said, high agility or CG synergy, it is your choice and your call at the end of the day, because both these models are fairly solid in what they're capable of bringing to the field. Now, for boosted rates that apply to both banners across the board, for both Liger PX and Buster F, we have two fairly familiar faces also taking to the skies this time around. This week, we can see boosted rates for GBR-0 Yata Crow with Full Charge, Double Charge Buster, Flight Legs, and Shura, which can meta change into a true crow-like form with Desperate, Flash, Charge Blade. Flight Legs are maintained, but it exchanges the leg ability for Auto Charge, making it a fairly self-synergetic CG-reliant DPS no matter how you choose to use it, between up close or at range. Then we also have SCK-0 Sphinx with Confusion, Double Fire, Biped Legs, and Torturer, who can meta change and with a slight alteration to her kit of Repair Plant, Double Flame, Flight Legs, but also keeping Torturer. Now, unlike Yata Crow, Sphinx is kind of a one-trick pony in this sense, as she basically excels in setting things on fire and then keeping them on fire as long as she remains alive on the field, which she's able to do fairly easily thanks to having Repair Plant in her kit. Now, it is worth noting, however, that unlike Liger Phoenix and Buster Fury, both of these models are meta change type units, which means you will either get the entire unit all at once, or not at all. So if you find yourself on that stupidly lucky 0.01%, you might end up walking away with one of these faster than you would either of the ZOIDS models. But they're still fairly solid either way, no matter how you choose to use them. For the Fierce battles we have this week, it's going to be a very mixed but very good utility week on top of that, with all the parts and skills that we have available this time around up for grabs. On the top row, we have HPP-0 Hippopotamus with Stealth, Double Break Hammer, Tank Legs, and Trap Buster. RIN-0 Rhino Rush with Guard 500, Double Missile, Tank Legs, and with Super Armor. And KZA-01 Kaizo Korobe with Gatling, Rifle, Sword, Biped Legs, and Acrobatics. On the bottom row, we have GMN0 Gemini with Optic Guard, Wave, Hold, Wheeled Legs, and Adapter. JOK0 Shootboard with Heater, Beam, Power Rifle, Biped Legs, and Aim. And MDR0 Dondrill with Virus, Double Hammer, Biped Legs, and Rumbling. Now, like I said, it's going to be a very mixed utility week overall because there's going to be at least one fairly solid skill across all 6 models that you can use fairly solidly, whether it be early on or even as a part filler in teams later on once you're a seasoned vet. Hippopotamus, for instance, will be fairly solid for Break Hammer and your conventional heavy punish overall. Rhino Rush for your missile or for your tank legs with super armor if you do somehow need them for anything. Kazo Korobe will mostly just be kind of your filler for your auxiliary support to the DPS with some lesser power but still capable of some overall damage. Gemini mostly be really good for the wheeled legs and adapter more than anything else, given that adapter gives it A rank on every terrain not already at A or S, which means there is no terrain Gemini can't fight on that it's already going to be fighting an advantage on. Shootport is the other MVP of the week, primarily on the grounds of having basically a free power rifle, which is fairly easy to pick up early on. It'll carry with you through a very good chunk of early content, and will stay with you until you can get a hold of some much stronger stuff early on. And MDR0 Dondrills can be fairly solid for Double Hammer, which you can use for flushing out enemy leaders that with Silent Leader. So like I said, I would farm all 6 just to have them on hand, but Shootport and Gemini will be the 2 really big ones you want to focus on more heavily if you want to pick models to focus on more specifically. We do have another wave of new collab Metarotters, or cosplay Metarotters, essentially as far as these collabs go, that are going to be joining the fray this time around too, this time with Tenma and Ryoma from Medarot 9. This time around, Tenma will be offering a buff that boosts all CG gained in any way by times 2.5 for 1 turn. So this will make him very useful for any of your CG-reliant fighters or DPSs, and you don't have the ability to use CG sustain in your team or can adequately fit it in. This will be a really good way to kind of give you the role without actually having to put it in the team. Now, granted, that 1 turn actually requires you trigger it and actually get something good out of it, but after that, you should be good to go. Ryoma, on the other hand, will reduce anti-air and anti-sea damage by 60%, and boost your cooling by 15% on top of that for 3 turns or until attacked. This makes him especially good for any of your flyers or your sea leg users that are possibly susceptible to anyone using anti-air or anti-sea to nuke them out of existence. This will be a very good way to curb that times 7 or 7.25 damage modifier so that you can stay in the fight longer even if they have the perfect weakness to the perfect counter to you. And with it lasting for 3 turns means you can kind of not have to focus on it too heavily after you actually activate it. And giving it until attack means it stays around until that actually happens or nothing happens at all, whichever comes first. For the event, though, it is going to be fairly quiet this time around, though, as far as events and new stuff and rewards are concerned. This time around, for Wave 2 of the collab event featuring the Zoid Fusers, we have the opportunity to earn the Spino Medal, which is a speed nature medal with a mastery in melee, shooting, and healing, and leg masteries of multi, tank, and flight. We can also earn profile banners featuring Liger PX and Buster Fury, and of course a handful of other rewards and limited time resources that are normally a little harder to obtain. This event specifically will be ticket-based, so bonuses will be stacking per part equipped across the team based on how you choose to use it. This means you don't exactly have to go in with the full pure set across the board if you don't have them, but if you do, extra bonuses do stack up where necessary, making it just a little bit more lax as far as score attack and other previous events are concerned. For the March, with a new month, we do have new PvP skins that were officially announced for this month as well. This time around, we're going back to the floral pattern that we had last year in 2025, with a floral style of Brave Man and Deer Hero, the only 2 male pop idol types in the IDL series, alongside returns of floral style Arc Beetle D and Tyrell Beetle from last year. Now, I do have to note as well, just for clarification, these are not the twisty mode versions of them that can form Master Beetle. These are the regular versions of Arc Beetle D and Tyrell Beetle, which convert into their regular meta change form. So just make sure you're aware of this if you do choose to go after the skins. I honestly do love the fact they are recycling older skins, though, and kind of bringing them back to keep things fresh, and give players a chance to go back and pick them up if they did miss anything of them. And the designs for both Brave Man and Deer Hero are also really nice to keep on hand as well. For Meta Survivor, it's going to be fairly quiet, nothing new overall as far as new stuff is concerned, no new characters or events. It's going to be just your usual reset and refresh as it is every other week as far as new stuff is concerned. So Juke and Manjiro will still be up for another week as far as their banner is concerned. The event will be reset and refreshed with a new style, and give players a chance to continue sampling the two over this next week while they try to pull for them. Now, I am going to kind of go off on a tangent here for just a minute, since the official release of Meta Survivor Global has launched officially a little over a week, just under a week ago. And I have to say, while I am glad to see a game officially in EN, it's not without its concerns either, and I believe those concerns have been very well voiced over the course of the over this last week or so, between it being fairly stingy with its diamond distribution, the incessant use of ads, or in a lot of localization cases, the names that they converted stuff to needlessly. I have been very vocal about that in the Discord if you have seen my comments on that, but it's been very mixed overall. I am currently debating if I want to actually make an overall, like, retrospective or review video on it, bring some other players in to talk about it, or just kind of figure something out like that. I'm still debating on it, just kind of letting the initial hype and criticism settle first, but I will keep you guys updated on that. Overall, like I said, the game is still enjoyable if you're looking for a simple time killer, but if you're looking for something that's as intuitive as Meta S, with all the stuff you can do, and mildly generous with its resources, you might want to keep looking for another game or keep holding out. But that is just my personal opinion. Moving on to community-related stuff, as always, we're still looking for assistance with any of our current projects or endeavors, such as with the Medarot 4, 9, or any of the manga translation projects. So if you are knowledgeable in coding, cleaning, Japanese, and have some time on your hands, or if you know somebody that might be, please feel free to reach out to me personally or join our Discord in the link provided in the comments below. We will get you in touch with those right people to fill you in. Alternatively, you can also donate to the cause with a link to various crowdfunding in the comments below, where we can commission some of those extra lines of text be translated on our behalf. So if you would like to see those projects finish faster and see those stories in English, this will be a really good way to help contribute to that so we can get those projects off the ground and keep them moving. Because the faster and the more ability we have to work on those, the sooner that we can release patches and see those games played in English. One other reminder, as far as community-related stuff, is the ongoing Ori Meta contest in the community Discord, in the Project Rising Beetle community Discord. Right now, the big prizes on the table are personalized art, much like I have been doing with previous contests, alongside, this time around, a personalized Row Battle Analytics breakdown video of your design. I will essentially give it a whole new kit and stats, and then break it down officially like I would any of the Meta S Battle Analytics. So I'm very excited to see what you guys come up with. All the rules and the details are in the Discord channels if you want to see more on that. It is currently a free-for-all, so there is no certain requirement or theme prompt in order to participate. Basically, just let your creativity soar. And this contest will be carrying on until the end of April, so I am very excited to see what you guys come up with between then and now. One final reminder before I do wrap us up, I am also on Card if you want to see all of my socials and my information all in one place. So all links to any socials or platforms I'm on, who I am, or any of my commission services and rates, that is the best place you will get a hold of that if you want to find any of that information faster. Link also is provided in the comments below as well if you'd like to get a hold of that or pass it along to anyone else. But that basically covers everything for this week's episode, so overall it is fairly quiet as far as events and such are concerned, but it's still going to be extremely heavy over this next several weeks with the ZOIDS collab, with all of the models currently being up for grabs from the old ones and the new ones incoming, and all of the rewards. So I know it's a lot, but definitely don't feel pressure to do it all at once. Make sure you take breaks and relax. It's not going anywhere, and you have plenty of time to do so. But with all that being said, if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page or the Metabots Forever community that I currently run and manage, almost 52,000 members and still growing by the day. The link to the Project Rising Beetle Discord also is present in the comments below as well, to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new links to merchandise, fan art, contests, my weekly episodes, or anything else of the like. That is the first place you will hear it before it goes anywhere else on the net. Then you can also reach out to me personally on Twitter, Blue Sky, Discord, or whatever your social media platform of choice is, at Isagami Kura. So if you'd like to talk to me or have any suggestions, if you want to commission me, or even possibly collaborate, where I have you on my channel as a guest host, or I stop in on yours for a friendly chat, would love to try to make something happen. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.